Delek. And hello, my Dharma friends. Thank you all for joining and being present here today. First of all, I would like to thank Jugun Tara Chuling in Chile and also my close friend, Kembo Jaso, for inviting me here today. Even my English is not so good, so I apologize to the translator in advance. Today is, as you all know, is Chogur Tujen, a very auspicious day to us Buddhists. Chogur Tujen, when translated, is called Buddha's first turning of the wheel of Dharma. Today is also the birthday of our root guru, His Holiness the 37th Jugun Chamgun. So let us all wish him a very happy, long and healthy life. May he always continue to bless us and guide us all. So on the 49th day after Buddha attained enlightenment, his disciples requested him to share his wisdom. And so Buddha agreed, and this was his first teaching after enlightenment. Buddha turned his first wheel of Dharma, and his first teaching was the Four Noble Truths. So in the Four Noble Truths, maybe today I will say many like 4 kind of, 8 kind of, 3 kind of. So maybe I hope we'll not confuse. So usually, as you all know, the Four Noble Truths is there is suffering, cause of suffering, end of suffering, and path of enlightenment. So the first noble truth is there is suffering. So all life involves suffering. Birth is suffering, aging is suffering, sickness is suffering, and death is also suffering. Now, in suffering, usually there is, if all suffering combined, there are 3 kind of suffering. So 3 suffering is, first is suffering of suffering, second is suffering of change, and the third one is all-pervasive suffering. The first suffering is suffering of suffering. First suffering of suffering is all living beings have to face suffering, physically and mentally. Starting from birth till death, usually most are suffering. When we start to birth, even we born before in the mother's womb, we already suffer a lot. Even the Gamboba said in his teaching that even when we are in the mother's womb, mother eat hot or cold or walk up the hill or jump or anything the mothers do, baby usually suffer a lot. Usually we say that when the baby is born, baby already got traumatized. And second is when we get old. Getting old is also suffering. A lot of, when we're getting old, we have so many physical problems comes. We are not being able to walk properly, not being to see properly, cannot hear properly, and all the whole body become weak. Even we want to do so many things inside our mind, but our physically we cannot because we're getting old. And sickness. And so nobody wants to get sick. Even especially right now, the world is facing a pandemic because of COVID-19. But this is not all. There will be a lot of diseases or new virus will coming in the future also. We all have to face that as well. So in sickness, usually in our whole life, there's so many sickness that I even don't know the names and the death. So nobody wants to die. That's why everyone wants the antidote, the vaccine for the sickness. especially right now, even when we are suffering, that we will get a vaccine or not in many countries, or if the vaccine will actually really work or not. These all are, we are, because of the death, that we are afraid of dying. Now, first one is suffering of suffering. Now, second is the suffering of change. As time changes, we look for pleasure and satisfaction in material things, in people, in activities, even owning a pets or a new gadget or a car. Everything looks very pleasing and tempting to us. And we expect it will give us happiness. It does give happiness also, but only for a while. And those material things will not interest us anymore, not for a long time, because they will go out of fashion or get old. Even people will change, they age especially. So nothing is permanent. That's why we call a suffering of change. Every happiness that we seems is happiness will later change into suffering. Example, the richest man one day could lose everything. The healthiest man could one day fall very sick. Everything might not go well. Everything might go well now, but everything will change because nothing is permanent. So the third suffering is the all-pervasive suffering. The all-pervasive suffering is right now, we are all in unenlightened state of body and mind. Especially our body is the foundation of suffering. So as long as we don't have control over our bodies and our mind is untamed, everything leads to suffering. Now there is that's why we call there is suffering. There's so many suffering going on. The first one. So because Buddha say the first noble truth suffering is when Buddha said is suffering, there is solution. So the suffering itself is a solution, especially for lazy ones like us. That's why if maybe Buddha said happiness only, then we don't like to practice. We only want to we forgot everything. So usually also this very interesting thing is like, especially like my disciples, they come to us because they face suffering. Then they come. They will not come if they are very happy and being a very happy life, then they will forget. When they suffer, then they remind to do good things. So that is the same logic. Okay, then now the second noble truth. Now we go the cause of suffering. So what is the cause of suffering? Why do we suffer? So the cause of suffering is we call a three poison: greed, hatred, and ignorance. These three is the cause of suffering. So now we know the cause of suffering. Now how to end it? To end all suffering, we must get rid of that three poison so we can reach enlightenment. And after enlightenment, then there is no more suffering. So now then, how can we reach enlightenment then? Then we come to the fourth, the path of enlightenment. Now to follow the path of enlightenment, we must practice the Noble Eightfold Path. The Eightfold Path is right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right meditation. So the Noble Eightfold Path, the first one is the right view. Right view means seeing the world through eyes of wisdom and compassion. Right view is very important. When if we don't have a right view, that's why we are in samsara. We don't have clear view. Yeah, we always do mistakes. Example is like when we are. If I am in the dark room and I cannot see properly, then I saw like a snake. So I will scream and go run out and shout and telling people that there is a snake inside because I don't have a right view, not clear view. So when everybody comes inside, when turn on the light, then there's just a rope. It's not a snake. So that's why when we have a right view, then we know what it is, what is samsara, what is suffering. So because we don't have a right view, then we keep doing mistake things and thinking what that is not. So the second one is right intention. Right intention is coming from right view. Means through wisdom and compassion, then right view will lead to the right way of thinking, called right intention. Intention, then this right means making effort to speak truthfully, no harsh speech, always speak gently and not gossiping around. You will inspire people and help people when you speak. Speech is looks very small. Even you talk bad things, gossiping, it looks very small sin. But usually we said is the biggest sin is the speech, because you always talk about bad things about everyone usually. Like killing looks big, but we won't kill every day. We won't kill. So the small things look smaller, but usually that is bigger. Right speech. Now have to do a right action. Means making positive movements. No violence, hurting or stealing. One should act out of love and compassion always to others. Right livelihood. Right livelihood means avoid living a harmful to others. Usually, like when you earn a living an honest, harmless, and peaceful way. You all have a job. Example, like you all have a job. So try to do a job that not hurting someone else's life. Right, livelihood is also very important because most of the time you are doing that thing. Especially like if you have a job, mostly whole day, maybe 8 or 10 hours, you are doing your job. So if your livelihood is not good, then you always doing a sin. But there's many negative jobs, but especially like selling meats, killing animals, selling poison, or liquors, or weapons, or slave trade, or selling drugs. These all are usually the worst negative jobs. The sixth is the right effort. Right effort means always to do good, never to do evil, maintaining a moral progress by destroying evil thoughts. Always put a right effort, always have a good will towards other. 7.1 is the right mindfulness. Means that you must be really aware of the world around you all the time. Do not be distracted. Always concentrate on the way things are. Live in the moment and always be aware of your own thoughts. We call example is like a river, sitting on the river bank. It's like a river bank means the side of the river. Yeah. So when you sit on the outside the river and you look at the river is like our thoughts. It's coming whole day, keep thinking of different things. So like a river, when you don't involve in that, so you can see the river very clear. And when you are outside of river, then you can feel and you will know. No, that's called the mindfulness. You are not involved in the river. You are staying and looking at the river. The last one, the Eightfold Path, is the right concentration. Some say the right meditation. And means to practice meditation, to train the mind, focus on one object or a virtue thoughts at a time. By doing this, we attain a true peace of mind and helps with distraction or wavering our mind. Now that is the Noble Eightfold Path. So if this path of enlightenment was confused to you, then I will explain in a shorter way. So now I will try to conclude the Eightfold Path. So this Eightfold Path, we will conclude in the three training. We call the three training. The training of wisdom, the training of discipline, the training of concentration. So the Eightfold Path, the right view and the right intention is in wisdom, and right speech, right action, and right livelihood is in discipline, training of discipline. And right effort, right mindfulness, and right meditation is in concentration. When we say a three training, the wisdom, discipline, and concentration, then it will be easier usually. Now this today, this is the Four Noble Truth. And right now I suddenly come out my thoughts that I always tell to my disciples that these days everyone doing is help yourself and trying to change others. We're always trying to, whenever you help a beggar, you will wish that I hope I will become richer. Even you pray, you will think that wish I can go to the nirvana or become a past life, become a better person. Always try to help yourself and trying to change other. You, no matter who comes, maybe more knowledge than you, you will still trying to change others, that you have to do this, you have to do that. When you help someone else, when you think about returning, that you will get return, then that is not dharma. That become a business. Dharma is not expecting anything. So when you expect something, you want something, that is business. So like most of the time, we think we are doing a dharma, but usually we are doing business. But like before I said, like we always do help yourself and change others, right? So usually the practitioner, we have to do the opposite way usually. Usually we have to do is help other and change yourself. Whatever you do for the other person, you're always trying to think a positive to help them, not try to change them. Always try to help them. And when you listen to the teachings, always think of yourself. I need to change something. If you not change, you cannot help other. You cannot help yourself also. So that's why every knowledge you get, every teaching you heard, the main thing is first, how can I change? So when you think about yourself to change, then it become a good practitioner. Now I will stop my teaching here, and I will thanks again to the Tara Choling that giving me this opportunity and make us a Dharma connection to all my to the listener, the Dharma friends. And I wish that you all will practice in a better way. And especially, I'm very glad that you all have a very good master in there. They are all my close friends. So they all are very good monks. So I'm very glad that you all are learning from them. And I wish you all a very successful journey of this Buddha's way of life. Thank you.